It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy.
Hello friends, welcome to the YouTube channel. This is not a story I want to bring to you just for the purpose of informing you. I got something to say. This right here is hard to even speak about it because of the individuals involved. The Diddy situation, Sean Combs Diddy. Wow. Again, we know we live in a system where we say innocent until proven guilty, right? So the man has to go to court and everything that has to do with that. But I want to share with you the nature of the beast. But I want you to watch to the end because I'm going to tell you something that I think some people might disagree with because I'm reading the comments under the videos. I'm hearing what some people are saying and I'm reading, it's like they're condemning this man to death. But when you hear the accusations, when you hear the allegations, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. All right. Before we watch this video, let's take a listen to this.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
Whoa. These are some serious allegations, friends. Now, we don't know. We know there's a case going forward here. There's going to be some examination. Some lawyers are going to have to come in and speak about the matter. But guys, I want you to notice on paper what's going on here, okay? This is massive. And again, this is huge. And this has been going on for years. So let's read in part what's on that indictment, okay? So it's talking about Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, aka Diddy. He went on to say the defender abused and threatened and coerced women and others around himself to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on his employers, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he had control, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Whoa. It went on to say in the same article on the indictment, the defendant and others, known and unknown, participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of Combs and Spire's affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other closed associates of Combs. It gets worse, guys. It went on to say, Combs and other members, associates of the Combs empire, wielded the power and prestige of Combs, role of Combs in business to intimidate and threaten and lure females victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of romantic relationship. So we are told in the next part of the indictment, look at this. There we go. Combs often use force and threat of force and coercion to cause victim to engage in extended sex acts with males commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among others, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produce sex performance that Combs engaged in, directed and often electronically recorded. Guys, this is terrible. This is bad, 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 bad. Now, here's the video that's all over the web now. And again, this was posted years ago by Justin Bieber, which is about 14-something years ago. It is actually on his YouTube channel. It is still there with 5 million something views. All I want you to do is watch what's going on, the interaction here, and tell me, isn't there something wrong with this?
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Man.
That out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right,
No,
16.
Not ready.
16.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you know, when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
And where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go buck full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out some.
That's crazy. And now people are saying a lot could have happened during that time. We don't know. We just we don't want to go into speculation here, but I've also heard that Justin, you know, later on in his life got into some serious anxiety and everything else, and some people believe he must have had something to do with this. There's a video on the web. Okay, there's a video on the web, and that was spoken about by his ex, who actually passed away, which is another discussion to have about that one too, where she said she saw the videotapes and she written the testimonies in the book because she actually took the tapes and she copied them because she realized how much of a thing this was, and she wanted to protect herself and her family. And as she was writing the book to expose what was going on with Diddy, all of a sudden she passed away, I think from pneumonia. But anyway, this is crazy, man. And again, a lot more could be said. The situation is again. There's an investigation going on here. We can't sit here and start judging and stuff. But pretty much, he was running a business enterprise, of a criminal business enterprise, I should say. That's what racketeering is about. It's a well-structured, organized business that involves sex and many other things. We're talking about so much evidence has been piled against this man to the point where they're talking about over 1,000 bottle of lube.
How do you explain the baby oil and the lubricants? 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And you know, this is consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. You know, we can't get so puritanical in this country to think that somehow sex is a bad thing, because if it was, there'd be no more people.
So what is being done with these lubes? You just read between the line. I don't want to get into this. I'm not going to go any farther. But when I think about this, and I think Sean Combs is exactly where he needs to be at this time of his life. Behind bars. He must stay there until everything else takes place. A court hearing happens. Yo, this is crazy, man. I mean, it breaks my heart listening to this. There's a lot of victims. There's Usher, there's Trey Songz, there's a bunch of artists. Things have happened to them under the leadership of Sean Combs, according to the testimony that I'm hearing. And again, I look at this and I ask the question, is there any hope for Sean Combs Diddy? I think there is hope. But I will say, first of all, the victims, I'm so sorry that these things have happened. People who's been groomed, abused, the women who have testified and cried. We had a video of a woman who got beat up at a hotel and everything. She was dragged and stuff like that. It was caught on camera. This was exposed. So there's a lot going on here. It's like a lot of people are comparing the situation to Jeffrey Epstein. And now the question is he going to be kept alive? Because having a business enterprise means that there was a lot of people involved, right? So this wasn't just a one-man show. There was a lot of people involved. Even I've heard FBI agents were involved. CIA agents were involved in this. A lot of rappers were in these, in these houses, in this P. Diddy's home, including ministers like T.D. Jakes, and other musicians as well. Even Christian musicians had been in these parties. Whether they partook or not, I don't really know. I'm not saying that. But I just think this is a really sad situation we are reading into right now. And I don't take much joy in this by sharing it with you. I just think it's very heartbreaking. A lot more could be said. Let me first tell you this, right? The victims must be advocated for, the people who are hurt and wounded. And I really hope he stays alive to get to the heart of the truth. And the people that needs to be exposed must be exposed. So the thing is, this is one person that been caught, and R. Kelly got caught. How many more have yet to be caught, right? We don't know. It's just the evidence are very strong. I don't know how this man is going to escape this. I have no idea. Anyway, all right, let me read this quotation from the Bible for you. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 4, right? For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. There is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. Lord have mercy. So much in that, right? And oftentimes dogs are looked at as rejectors, and especially in the time of Israel, dogs were not as we have them today in the United States. Things were not like that. Dogs were kept outside the house. They were rejected. But the point of the matter is, as long as there is life, there is hope. And the story of Sean Combs can also teach us a number of things. Despite what a person have done, you know what's crazy? The love of God can still reach him. The love of God can still reach this man. We are told in the book of Romans chapter 1 verse 16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. Now, we are told this gospel has the power to save anyone who believes. So we can easily address all these allegations and say, if he's guilty, therefore he is guilty. But I think the place that he is right now, if he is kept alive and he has enough time to process all the stuff he's been doing, he's restrained now. You know, God can save this man, right? Right in the prison cell. Let me tell you some stories. If you doubt this, let me explain. The Bible says the gospel has the power to save. Like when you go to the gospels, who are the people you will consider the most wicked people in the Bible? I'm going to give you my top 3. Which one would you think about? So let's start with number 3. Which one would that be? You know, the first one I can think about in the Bible, and you can disagree with me if you want to, the people in the Bible that were wicked but were saved at the end of their day. Who will those people be? Well, tell me your top 3. Okay, tell me your top 3. I'm going to give you my top 3. Number 1, the third one that I would put on the stand is Nebuchadnezzar. We are told Nebuchadnezzar, a wicked man, bloodshed, evil doing, stood God's people into slavery, burned the city of God, right? Build a golden image, 12 people in a fiery furnace. This is the same Nebuchadnezzar who proud and boasted himself, is not this great Babylon that I have built for my power and my majesty? And we know what happened as a result. God cursed him, right? He went crazy. He turned into a crazy madman. So now, what was the end of the story? The end of the story was that Nebuchadnezzar repented. That's one man. So let's put Nebuchadnezzar in top 3. Who is the second person you can think about in the Bible that was extremely wicked, but got saved anyway at the end of the story? Who will that be? The second person I have on my list, and let me know if you got the same list as I do, is the Apostle Paul. Yes, there is nothing. Oh, listen, man. If Paul can get saved, there is hope for Diddy, somebody. And also the victims of Diddy, there is hope for these people. We don't condemn these individuals, friends. Yeah, we condemn their behavior. We condemn the sin. But there's hope for the man. And I'm not trying to preach a pro-Diddy message here. No, I'm preaching a gospel message that no matter what you've done, if the grace of God could reach Paul, Nebuchadnezzar, that same grace can reach you and I. And that same grace, we must extend it to Diddy. We must extend it to Diddy. And that's a tough saying for a lot of people. Now, listen, Saul became Paul, like we say, but it really is the same thing. It's just the Hebrew name and the Greek name. But anyway, let's move on. What we are told, this is the same man who stood by and watched Stephen get stoned to death. He was holding the coats and the jackets of the men who were doing it. It's the same Apostle Paul who pulled Christians out of their home. He really believed in his heart he was doing the right thing. It's the same Apostle Paul that God knocked down on his horse on the road of Damascus. And he had a wake-up call. Jesus, what do you want me to do? It is hard for you to kick against the prick. As a result, we are told he went blind. But Paul was prayed for. And the scales fall off his eyes. He was able to see. He received Bible study. He believed in Jesus. We are told he became the Apostle Paul. Come on, man. Majority of your New Testament book is written by a man who was killing Christians for a living. Is there hope for you and I? Is there hope for Diddy? So, Paul is number 2 on my list. Now, here's some drum roll. Who is number 1 on the list of some of the most wicked men in the Bible, one of the top wicked men in the Bible, but by the grace of God, at the end of the day, he got saved anyway? Who would that person be? King Manasseh. Lord have mercy. Listen, if King Manasseh could be saved, listen, man, a living dog is better than a deadline. I'm so telling you. 1 Kings chapter 21, we are told this man was so wicked. Friends, he was so wicked. I said, boy, only God can be God. Only God is love. If you can save Lord, if you can save this guy, I'm like, we're going to be okay, family. Listen, we're going to be all right. I think even Diddy in the prison cell, the grace of God could touch his heart, and we should pray for him. I'm so serious. We should pray for him. We should pray for the victims also. We should advocate for this victim because they need to be healed. They need to be healed. He has left a lot of atrocities in his path. But guess what, friends? Guess what, friends? If Jesus can save Manasseh, there's hope for Diddy. Oh, there's hope for him. Now, listen now. Let me give you the list. He rebuilt the high places for heathen worship. He restores idolatrous worship, built altars for Baal in the house of God, worship the host of heaven, made his son to pass through the fire. Lord have mercy. He began to practice witchcraft, wizardry. He led Israel into all these abominable practices, and he shed bloods very much, the blood of God's people, attacking God's priests and so on. This man was wicked. I mean, he gets the crown for me as far as a wicked man in the Bible, but who actually came back and was converted. This is the same guy who saw Isaiah into. Can you imagine Isaiah seeing this guy in heaven one day? Can you imagine in the resurrection, Manasseh is there and Isaiah's like, what in the world? What's going on? Like, yes, he cut the men of God in half. But we are told when the Assyrians came, they took him by the nose, friends, brought him into captivity. Yeah, brought him into captivity and lock him up in a prison cell. Now, here are the words from the Bible. And when I read those words, I say, what in the world is God talking about? Look at this. 2 Chronicles chapter 33, verse 13. When he was in affliction, he besought the Lord his God. You gotta be kidding me. This brother, yes, while he was in a prison cell, he besought the Lord his God. He humbled himself greatly before the God of his fathers and prayed unto him. He was entreated of him and heard his supplication. What kind of love is this? And brought him again to Jerusalem into his kingdom. Then Manasseh knew that the Lord was God. He is number one on my list. I don't know what your top 3 is. And I say that to say this, my dear friends. A living dog is better than a dead lion. You see, when you think about Diddy, you can condemn, you can hold him accountable, you can point out the flaws and the errors and the life that he left behind. That man looked guilty as sin to me. But at the same time, we have to respect the laws and allow the investigation to go on. But friends, I don't know how he's going to escape this one. When they go for you, friends, they know what they're trying to do. They gather enough evidence. When they go for you, it is over. But I tell you what, man, we can look at that situation and learn a lesson about God's love. Even in the midst of everything you heard, friends. A living dog, I'll say it again. Let's read it again. A living dog is better than a dead lion. If you are alive, the Bible says there is hope. So today you might be watching. You might not be in a position as Diddy. Maybe you're not as wicked as he is. But friends, aren't we just as sinful? Don't we have the same carnal, sinful nature? You see, the difference is you don't have the power and the ability to carry out the evil that these men have. Praise the Lord, some of us have enough self-control not to go that direction. Amen. But I will say, this is what happens when power corrupts and money comes into play and influence happens over time. And especially when you've been abused, when you hear the story, he did to others what's been done to him. Because there's been a long history of the dirt that he's been through. So he just reflected on somebody else. But the point of the matter is this. If God can save Nebuchadnezzar, Paul the apostles, if he can save Manasseh, somebody, no matter what you and I are going through, the grace of God is enough for you and I. This is why the apostle Paul says, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you. And my strength is made perfect in your weakness. So I say this morning, God's grace is enough. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. I tell you what, man, pray for the people who are involved in some of these ideas and the people that's been victim. Even pray for Diddy. He's not too far from God's grace. He is not. And remember, the same grace that saves you can save anybody else, irrespective of what they've done. But this was a tough one to talk about, though. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.